So Right Sharing of World Resources is a nonprofit organization based in the US that works with partners in Sierra Leone, Kenya, and South India to address economic disparities that exist, and particularly to support women's groups in creating microloans, self-help groups that allow women to earn livable wages for themselves and their families. Domestically, Right Sharing works to help those of us within the United States look at how our affluence is out of alignment with our spiritual beliefs as Friends or as people adjacent to Friends, to Quakers, and see the whole issue as all of us are a part of this interconnected web. And in Right Sharing of World Resources, how do we get to that right balance of how each of us is consuming, using, sharing the world resources that we have at our disposal, and how we can bring more equity and justice to that. When I was living and working in India, one of the things I got to do was visit among the women's groups. And these were women who were doing microcredit loans with each other, were doing some financial literacy with each other, and then just some basic support for each other as they were working to create small businesses to support themselves and their families. And in one of the villages I visited, we walked into town and the main road was clearly under construction. It was being changed from a dirt road to a paved road with curbing and drainage. And so we were actually sitting on the cobbles that had been brought in and the stones for the curbing, that was the place where we could sit and talk that day. And I said, "Can you tell me what's going on here?" Because everyone was clearly excited about this construction. And the story was that when Right Sharing had first started, there had been some naysaying among some of the men in the village, but a few women had gotten together, had sort of taken the risk to step out of the social norm and join this group, had done microcredit loans with each other, had started some small businesses, had begun educating other women about the opportunities to join microcredit loans, had learned how to keep books, kind of all the basic financial stuff that you learn when you start a business. And they were so successful that the men in the village started to take note, and we're really watching these women not just develop new businesses that were bringing in income for themselves and the family, but the way that it was impacting the whole community. And so after several years, a woman was elected president of the village, which had never happened in the history of the village before. And she used some of the skills she had learned, not just in terms of financial literacy, but in terms of community organizing, advocacy, accessing state resources, to get a state grant to repave the central road in their village, to bring in some better drainage, to address some other infrastructure issues. And I can't think of a better example of empowerment than coming in, working with a group of people in their terms, in their language, in their culture, to offer skills that they had been denied, because most of these women had left education very, very early on, needing to work or support their families, and the ripple effects that that had in a way that wasn't about destabilizing any of the cultural norms that were in place, but rather helping people get the skills to bring in the resources they wanted to address the issues in their community.